got shipwrights, blacksmiths, block makers, sail makers, all the trades that you need to be able to restore and repair a Thames barge. If we lose this, we've lost our heritage. You can build a house anywhere. You can't put a boat in a field.
In the late 1800s, early 1900s, there were approximately 3,500 sailing barges. Today we've got approximately 28 left capable of sailing, and therefore it's absolutely crucial for our maritime heritage to maintain that fleet.
Now, what these barges are the equivalent of Grade 1 listed buildings. If you lose one of those, it's like turning round into the centre of Faversham and saying, well, let's pull the Guildhall down. Where we are at the moment in Colin Frake's workshops, and I've sailed several times with his old dad, who was a barge skipper, born in 1900. Skills are handed down from one person to another, and it's more than that, it's the ethos which is handed down. And we lose this sort of thing at our peril. What other skills do we throw away? If we lose these skills, if that becomes a way of life that we're prepared to lose skills and prepared to lose heritage, then I think it will be a very sad day.
8 years ago, the site was bought by developers, and in a very short time we were given notice to quit. I told most people, and I believed it myself, that short term we were going to have problems, but long term I said that I thought that the quay itself and the buildings will be saved. But now I don't think that. I think it will be an absolute miracle if the crafts on the creek or on Standard Quay remain here. It will be an absolute miracle.
Our lease runs out next June, Midsummer's Day next June. Our lease runs out, and if we can't stay on the quay, I'm afraid most of it would fold. I'm sure whoever owns the quay will want to have boats on the quay looking pretty, but I fear for as it's happened elsewhere on the Thames and everywhere else in England as far as I can see, they won't want the messy bit, the dirty bit, the rebuilding part. So consequently we are likely to lose the skills, the employment for the town and the apprenticeship scheme. I believe possibly the way forward with Standard Quay and the buildings on the front, I don't mean the entire site, just the parts we use, is actually a compulsory purchase order which will enable it to be run by the public, for the public and the town.
I decided that I've got to, I think, move on. I'm not so optimistic as Brian, but at the same time I would come back tomorrow. My life is the creek.
We've only got a certain amount there's a finite amount of heritage left. Since the 60s in particular, we've squandered, sacrificed, lost the vast majority of it. I mean, if people are happy to live in an anonymous town with the uniform shops, the same supermarkets, and things like that, and a few theme pubs, then that's fine. But I believe there's an awful lot of people, including half the people that live in Faversham, that actually want to live somewhere with a past, with a history that's still there. A uniform future is a very scary and depressing one, I think. Well, we had one nice thing happen last Monday. John Henley from The Guardian came down to possibly write an article of the quay and its woes. And he seemed to be very enthusiastic about it and spent a long time there and talked to all the people involved and was generally quite enthused by I think he called it the magic of the quay.
Brian always thought that we will get the freehold of the place. And I said to Brian a long while ago that, he could have the freehold of the place, but I would just, be around. But it's just gone totally wrong.
It's kind of a crime against not just history, but kind of logic, really.
Yes.
I mean, that's the really frustrating thing, is that, you've got a place here that was built to do a certain thing, is perfect for doing it, for which there is a vibrant market and plenty of demand.
Yes.
It's a shame, really, that the planners and all the I call them cronies, that they weren't taken to task by a body.
It's a bit like when you learn when you grow up, Father Santa Christmas doesn't exist. We've all kind of believed that there's some guardian, benevolent local authority that will look after you.
I mean,
it just doesn't exist, does it?
If this was Holland, Belgium or France,
or Germany, certainly Germany.
well, they've got laws.
I read a remarkably purple article in The Guardian by somebody that's never been anywhere near Standard Quay. I think the Guardian article had a number of deficiencies in it.
What were they?
Well, I haven't got it in front of me, so, it was a long article, wasn't it? I think there were a number of things which weren't accurate.
But you can't tell me what they are.
I would have to look up the article again, wouldn't we? What's in the paper yesterday is chips today, isn't it? I don't think there are significant fears in the town. I think I would accept that there may be a concern from one or two individuals who may be affected by subleases, but that is an issue between them and the landlord.
Problem is that the council are supporting the development. They've effectively given the okay to the developer, told him that he's likely to succeed with his planning proposal to convert these traditional buildings into cafes or whatever. Now, if they gave a different message out, then it would be a completely different situation.
Once the landowner has been given potential to get planning permission for restaurants, shops, and possibly housing, the quay is dead as a working quay. The other significant point of the latest report is that for the first time ever, it rules out any possibility of a compulsory purchase of the site, and that is a new thing.
It isn't the job of Swale Borough Council to intervene between landlord and tenant. Shipbuilders and ship owners come and go with the tide.
Cambria is about as big a restoration project as they get. In the country, probably the only restoration that's larger than this is the Cutty Sark, quite frankly. At the end of the day, these are big vessels. This particular one's 92 foot overall, weighing well in excess of 90 to 100 tonnes. Standard Quay, certainly from the point of view of the southeast, is crucial for traditional boat building skills. There's very, very few places where you can go these days.
by Thursday there'll be just a handful of craft left on the quay, and all the other workers in fact will be gone. So it's the end of the dream. What really depresses me is the fact that, rather naively I thought that the council, being the democratically elected representatives of the people, would, where possible, understand the public sentiment and try to act in a way that supports it. It seems to me that the council are purely and utterly developer-led. What the developers want, they get, and sod local opinion.
It takes many, many years to train to be a master craftsperson, a block maker like Colin Freight, for instance. When he's gone, then if you want to rig the Golden Hind again, who's going to do it? It'd be a real travesty to see those skills die out. That living heritage, it's the thing that will be marketed more in 20 or 30 years' time. Maybe even 5 years' time, around the world, in Japan, Korea, even France and the Czech Republic have national living treasure schemes where they recognise their greatest craftspeople and honour them.
I'm proud of what we've managed to achieve over the 18 years, and I'm so deeply saddened that our council weren't prepared to support us and let it run for the future.
The brightest of you.